Hello my dear friends, and welcome to my channel. Don't forget to make yourself a cup of tea with snacks if you want, because today we have very interesting stories, and one of them is a story about a woman who steals OP's phone cause she thinks OP doesn't deserve it for what is done. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I hope you'll enjoy it. So, we'll start with the cast. Hello. EA, entitled Aunt, UN, my uncle, EA's ex-husband, GD, my grandfather, Mom, my mother. This story happened like 2 years ago-ish. So, my mom's side of the family has a family reunion at an awesome wilderness resort in PA, with cabins and stuff. Most everyone who comes, about 30-40 people total, get cabins for their own families or find hotels nearby, and most days of the reunion conclude with a little hoedown at my grandpa's cabin, so that's like 25 to 35 people partying in and around a cabin made for like 8 people to live in, tops. Still, it's super fun, but gets tiring after a while. So, me and my family had just gotten to the resort after about 6 hours of driving, so I was already a bit tuckered out, but after like another 3 hours of hanging out with family I was completely socially exhausted, so I just found a quiet corner of the cabin with a couch to just chill out and play Animal Crossing. Gotta pay Tom Nook, man. Anyways, about 30 minutes of playing later, in walks EA and her 2 kids. Here's some more context regarding EA. She's technically not even related to our family, because UN, her ex-husband, is my mother's brother. UN and EA divorced because she was awful and abused him and their kids, and the breaking point was after she pushed him off their second-floor apartment balcony and broke his legs and a few ribs. In the custody dispute, she made up a crap story about how she was forced to do it because he'd been abusing her and her kids, and the court ate it up and she got full custody, and he got to pay her a fat check every now and then, which resulted in him having to move back in with grandma and grandpa after he couldn't afford rent or his hospital bills. In short, my whole family hates her, which lines up nicely with how much she hates us. The only reason she comes to the reunions at all is because my grandparents made it a condition for her to bring UN's kids to see him during it, or they'd cut her and UN's kids out of the inheritance. Anyways, she's never really welcome at the reunions, she's mainly there so that our family doesn't corrupt her children. We all generally try to leave her be, though, since she could very easily decide to not come and let UN see her kids if she thinks the environment is too hostile. So, EA walks into the cabin, and immediately, the atmosphere totally changes for a little while. UN's kids are delighted to see him and go hang out with him, while GD grills EA to not be a witch to anyone, which is a warning he gives her every year. I mostly don't take notice of this, I say hi to UN's kids, and chat with them for a bit, but I go back to playing after that. Unfortunately, me talking to her kids catches the dreaded EA's attention as the partying mood starts to ramp back up. After a minute, she comes up in front of me, looking really irritated. Oh, hey, EA. You need something? Get off of that thing right now before I smash it. Oh goody, right out of the gate with threats. I glare at her and definitely keep my game out. What? Back off. What right do you think you have to tell me to do with my property? Get off it right now. You're going to rot my children's brains with that. I laugh in her face because that's just so terminally stupid that I can't help it. I'm pretty sure any brain rotting that kid 1 and kid 2 are gonna suffer won't come from me playing Animal Crossing. What, is that an insult? At this point, I'm having fun. I put my 3DS away in my jacket pocket though and zip it up so she can't get at it though. Since she's being loud, the family is also starting to notice. What do you mean? I'm just saying that if your kid's brains are rotting, it's probably a hereditary thing. You piece of crap. She smacks me across the face. Really freaking hard. It sounds through the whole cabin. Everyone in the house turns to see EA grabbing my jacket collar and trying to throw me off the couch. As I'm struggling with her, Mom sprints over looking like she's ready to kill. Get off of my son, you obese witch. She freaking body slams EA off of me and onto the floor and starts beating the living crap out of her and screaming. One of my other aunts pulls Mom off of EA and has to physically hold my mom back from hurting her even more. EA tries to get up to hit my mom back, but UN intervenes and steps in between them. One of my older cousins comes to me to make sure I'm okay. Mom and EA are screaming at the top of their lungs at each other by now. Let me go, let me go. I'm gonna kill her. I'm gonna kill that obese witch. Your crapbag little son assaulted me. I was defending myself. GT steps in now, freaking pissed. Like hell he did. Get the hell out of this house now, you worthless sack of crap. Out. You're never welcome in this family again. You can kiss that inheritance goodbye. EA goes white at the mention of that and gets even madder. She tries to get her kids to come with her, but they absolutely refuse, and she then just storms off in a huff screaming obscenities at us. EA ended up pressing assault charges on me, my mom, and UN, but it was thrown out almost immediately. Turns out it's not very easy to file a self-defense suit when literally 30 people saw you assault a teenager minding his own business unprovoked. Unfortunately, that whole situation means that she's absolutely cut ties with our family and refuses to let UN see his kids at all. It's sad, but at least she won't show up to the reunions again. You should have filed charges on her, it would have helped your uncle's case to get custody of his kids. This happened a year ago, edit, was actually 2 years ago. I am bad at processing time in recent years, also attributed to my disability stuff. I kinda forgot about it honestly until this weekend, when I took my service pup out for some fun at the aquarium for the first time. We went to a sea lion show, she was so good. I live in DC, it's a major tourist city around holidays, because the museums are free admission, which is even better if you live here. Sometimes I like to play tourist, and it's also great for my service pup to not lose her experience, if you will. I used to take her to my classes, college, but I've found that I have gotten a bit better on my own. She helps me with anxiety and locating exits. I have panic attacks often, PTSD, certainly not as bad as another post where the op had seizures, but it still makes an impact having her there for me, especially in crowds. Because DC is a tourist destination, often the people in the museums are there for vacation, don't care to act civil, and how you should normally be in public. For some reason I don't freaking know why you lose all common sense. The cast. EP. Entitled, soon to be, parent. CD. Generally cool dude, not having it with this woman. EF. Entitled family group these two were with. I am assuming they were all family members. SG, chill security guard dude. Me, yours truly. Pup, Ellie the Batgirl, the star of the show, unfortunately, but she's the best little girl. As a puppy, she had a bat shape on her booty, hence the nickname. It was around the time Star Wars Force Awakens, edit, it was 2 years ago, Star Wars Last Jedi, came out, and there were super cool costumes on display in the Air and Space Museum. Our mission was mostly to keep her on her toes in a public setting. It had been a week or so since we were in a crowd or on the metro. We had been at the museum for a few hours, and she was very well behaved, not reacting when parents would sick their kids on her to pet her despite the vest and the big bold letters "Do not pet." I had to ask the parents to please keep their children from petting my working service animal. Without the vest on, I would love it for these kids to have fun. Most of them were shy or pointed out they do not pet sign to their parents. It was almost time to go, and we were walking around the main area displays. Enter EP and CO. I was looking at a shuttle, pup sitting at my feet, when I hear from behind obnoxiously loud, "It's so stupid, why would anyone need a service dog in a museum, of all places," talking a bit lower, how people should respect rules, and not come into a public space with animals, even for health reasons. Absent from conversation. With my anxiety I'd normally walk away, as I write this in shaking, but this time was different. I couldn't stand by and let them do this to someone else that they'd encounter. I start walking over to confront them, with my pup, of course. Mouths crap or something, he clearly didn't want this, and didn't agree with them. "Can you repeat for me please what you just said?" Looking at EP and EFs. Pause. All blank stares, in disbelief I'd walk over. Finally, "I just don't understand why you felt you had to take your dog to a public building. You don't need her here, you look perfectly fine. In case you didn't know, most disabilities are not visible to the eye. My service animal performs tasks to simply allow me to live a normal life as you do. Are you saying I don't have the simple right to enjoy coming to my favorite museum?" Gets closer to me and stands in front defensively. "Well, you should be wearing something saying you need this help. My dog and her vest are my indication and are an extension of myself. No one else is handling her, and that's just stupid. You want me to be any more branded by my disability? That's just screwed up. You can't swear, there are kids around." I can see SGs getting wind of this and coming over, they take this stuff pretty seriously. "You have been yelling and acting like a child the moment I heard your voice across the room. We are doing nothing to harm you by existing, get on with your sad life, lady. Hey, what seems to be the trouble? Her service dog isn't real, she is not disabled. Ma'am, I can assure you, the dog is a service animal, please leave this woman alone, or I will escort you and EF out of the building. I go here often, so he must have remembered me, or he didn't want to deal with this witch. Excuse me, but we are here on vacation, and came all the way across the country to this museum, and we are not leaving. She clearly misheard him, if she calmed down then would have been free to stay. Says some code into his radio, ma'am, I am asking you to leave quietly, or I will have to force you to exit the building. EP and Coleve all huffed and upset. I feel bad CD had to leave, he didn't ask for any of this. I apologized to the security guard, he said they have been rude the entire time, and EP refused to go into the cancer machine, metal detector, and was upset with having to get a pat down, holding up the line. And that's it. No real big ending here, and I don't think I would have been able to take much more confrontation than this. Ellie got many extra pats and treatos. I applaud you. You handled yourself much better than I would have. A service animal should be all the indication of a disability they need. It happened about the month of July, I am not sure, of 2016. Me, crazy lady. EM, spoiled brat. SB, gaming's own employee. GE, a gentlewoman. Backstory. I was with my 12 other friends at Phoenix Market City and were going to a gaming zone within the mall to play CSGO after we went bowling. This is kinda important to the story. So, as we were bowling, not really, most of us were just sitting like a bunch of weeps, we were talking about a new upcoming game, it was Overwatch. As we packed up to leave, I gave one of my friends my phone to take selfies with his girl, while the rest of were about to leave. We start walking, and he catches up and hand me the phone. The girls went shopping, and we went to the gaming zone. As we were about to reach the gaming zone, we saw an 8 or 9-year-old boy following us. We were 15 then, so we weren't that old, but old enough to think that we were old. So, I turned back to see him, and he was a kid, freaking SB, from the bowling alley. Now normally I wouldn't give a second thought about it, but the problem was that there is quite a distance between the alley and the gaming zone as they were in separate buildings, so I asked him whether he was lost. He turns back and sprints away. I thought it was the end of it. But oh boy, I was wrong. After about 30 minutes, SB arrives with the king of the show, EM. SB whispers something in EM's ears and points towards me. She comes straight to me and starts yelling about how I scared her child's life by threatening him and harassing him. Her eyes fall on my phone and picks it up examining it and then continues to say that for being the spoiled brat and having fun I should give my phone to SB as I clearly didn't deserve it for harassing her son. Still in shock after what just happened. She takes my phone and hands it to SB. By this time all my friends are dead sorry, they gather up along with GE. I finally come to my senses and try to take my phone back from SB. But that little crap had hell of a grip and snatches the phone back from my hands and flings it towards the exit. Thank God they at least had a carpet for a floor, cushioning the fall. EM slaps me and grabs her kid and the phone and starts booking it. Now you see an about 40-year-old obese woman isn't quite a runner and only manages to go so far before GE tackles her, more like grabs her, but they end up falling while another staff calls the police. She loses grip on the phone and it goes sliding away and I run for it and grab it. EM goes crazy and starts cussing and swearing and tried to reach for the phone again, but I backed up and she slips and falls and becomes red with anger when she heard us laugh all while her son is crying. When the security arrived with the police arrived, she changed completely and said how I had stolen her phone from her son's hand and had harassed him. The police looked at us sternly and asked whether it was true or not. I told him it wasn't and told them to check the camera of the gaming place as well as the mall's camera. While they were seeing it, EM made a dash for it and almost made it to the exit when a female constable caught her and cuffed her hands. They took her away and told us to always be under adult supervision. They left after talking with the GE. To be honest, I didn't know what happened to them after that. So not an interesting ending compared to others I have seen here. But she probably got charges for assaulting a minor and theft. This most likely won't be an issue for her, as in my country, India, people can get away with anything if they had the money or the right contacts. I hope the phone didn't break after she threw it. I really do wonder every time how crazy people can be to do things like this. So little backstory, I work in a store that has samples. One sample is a really spicy hot sauce. It makes grown men cry. Well, that kids are not allowed to try that sauce unless they have permission from a parent. So this one boy and his mother, EK and EM, as you probably know, EK, tries some of our sauces, mostly mild ones, slightly spicy, but he found that spice way too hot. EK eventually notices the super hot sauce and starts to trying it, to which I say, "Oh, you can't try that without parent permission, it is insanely hot and causes grown men to cry." Oh, okay. I thought that was the end of it. Boy, was I wrong. EK tells EM what I said in some twisted way or something but didn't hear. EM comes up to me and says, "How dare you tell baby boy he can't try the hot one? He is way stronger and smarter than you. He got all A's in 3rd grade. A stupid retail worker at a tourist town is too stupid to understand. So just do your job like you are trained to do and let my boy try." Me, already annoyed. "Ma'am, I told your son it is very hot and very painful, and he shouldn't try it, but if he had parents' permission it's okay." This is when I had the idea, under one condition of course. "Well, hurry up and tell me what to do, your presence is killing my precious baby boy's brain cells. But all you gotta do is sign a form saying you knowingly and willingly allow your child to try the hot sauce. I just have to write one up, of course." Yay, whatever, just hurry up. So I wrote out a basic form along the lines of, "I hereby allow my son to try the very spicy hot sauce at knowing fully well how hot and painful this sauce can be." Now she had already bought something in this store using a card and had to sign the receipt, so I asked her to sign the form the same way she signed the receipt. For extra proof that she agreed, she quickly signed the form I wrote, and EK dunked his sample stick into the sample as far as it could go, about an inch deep, and cleans it off in one go. Now when I said this sauce is very spicy, I wasn't kidding. Jalapenos rate out 1,500 to 2,000 Scoville units, whereas ghost peppers rate out at 1 million Scoville units. This sauce rates out at a whopping 750,000 Scoville unites and uses pepper extract to reach that heat. And if you didn't know, pepper extract is an oil, and oil will linger in your mouth. So this sauce will burn for a good 20 minutes. A good 1 second goes by after EK tried the sauce till you saw his face contort into sheer terror and agony. He started crying, blubbering, screaming, incoherently speaking at the same time. It was quite the sight to behold. "What have you done to my baby? He eats hot Cheetos all the time, he can handle hot, you must have poisoned him. Hot Cheetos don't even really get as hot as jalapenos. This sauce is far hotter than a habanero, and at least a few hundred times hotter than hot Cheetos. Mommy, it hurts, I'm gonna sue you for poisoning my baby. Now give me chocolate milk for free, we sell chocolate milk for $1.50. I'm sorry ma'am, but I can't do that, I was trained to only sell the chocolate milk for $1.50 per bottle, so you have to pay just like everyone else." At this point she is screaming so much you could probably mistake her for a flock of chickens all getting strangled or something. But I just ignored her till she stormed out in a huff. Pity EM didn't try it at the same time. Karen getting to scream whilst her mouth is in fire. And if she then present a form in court, it counts a contractor in agreement showing she knew the risk. Well guys, that's it for today. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing, and if you missed the last episode on the channel, I'm gonna link it right here. The story is about a woman with a kid who tried to steal OP's dogs and assaulted OP. Check this out if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video.